Hello everyone. My name is Steven. I work for Compare the Market as a software and AI engineer. This is a space that actually interests me way more recently. So I would love to talk about AI agents in 2025, beyond chatbots to autonomous workflow. I know this is like a mix of technical and non-technical stakeholders, so I would try to form a bridge. So when I'm trying to explain, I would not explain too technical and not too non-technical. So please bear with me. So why this talk? Why am I speaking today? I'm trying to tell us, chatbots are actually everywhere, but they're just like scratching the surface. There is so much to do with AI than just chatbots. I want to explain what makes something an agent, basically. I want to explain how agents actually decompose tasks, integrate with APIs, maintain context. So API, don't worry, I'm going to explain when we are going forward. Real enterprise use cases, so how people, we are going to talk about a specific use case in the wrong and in the right. So you're going to see that as we go on. Yeah, so what makes something an agent? So we all know what AI agent is, but some of us don't know. So AI agent is just like a software system that autonomously acts and do something to achieve a goal. So in general terms, it's just something that literally do something on behalf of you or on behalf of somebody or something to achieve a goal. That's just it. Plain, simple. So when I talk about anonymously, it means you can do autonomously, it means you can do something without human intervention. Maybe fully or less. That's just what it means. So it's an agent that just do something on behalf of something. Chatbots. So we all know what chatbots are: ChatGPT, Perplexity, and some other chatbots like that. But these have gone way beyond chatbots. The AI space now is doing so much with agents. Now, chatbots would respond to individual prompts. Hey, ChatGPT, I want to write a letter to my line manager. Please do this. And you give it the prompts, give it the context, tell it what to do some prompt engineering skills, and then it returns an answer. That's literally what chatbots do. So they respond to prompts, and they got limited memory. Now, I'm going to explain the limited memory. I don't know if anybody have noticed this. If you're actually prompting ChatGPT, there's what they call first degree, second degree, third degree. It keeps the memory, right? You can say, ChatGPT, my name is Steven. Please help me to do this. Hey, hi Steven, how can I help you today? Blah, 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 and stuff like that. Now, when the context memory becomes way too much, it will lose the whole thing. So instead of keeping the whole chart from the first degree to probably the 10th degree, if you ask it something relating to the first degree, it could not, you need to reprompt it or you need to re-add the context. No, ChatGPT, I'm actually talking about this. And then they say, oh, sorry, blah, 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 blah. That's how it does. Now, AI agents, they don't just answer prompts. They do way more than prompts. One, they plan multi-step tasks. So you want to do something and you want to do another thing from another thing. Prompts, chatbots will not do that, because what they do is they respond to just your prompt and then give you your response. AI agents plan multi-steps. So before you answer this question, there are some few things you need to do. First thing, you need to retrieve this. Second thing, you need to ingest this. Third thing, you need to do this, and then you can do this. That's basically what AI agents can do. They can call tools, API, and external systems. So tools are just a fancy way to say functions, just to call it functions. For example, what's the weather temperature for today? ChatGPT will not know. But then what did it do? It will call a tool, which is just a function, gets the current weather, get the temperature and then tells you that's what it is. APIs, it's just a fancy way to say how do a particular system interact with another system. Application programming interface. So those are just fancy words we use, but they are just connecting one system to another. And external systems. They maintain context over time. Sometimes they have larger memory store than the chatbot systems. I already explained how chatbot system works. It can, probably the fourth or fifth degree, it starts losing context because of the numbers of generated. I would say, since an AI model, for example, has context window, now, if it's ingesting the whole memory, that's the chat conversations, plus your prompt, plus the system prompt, there's going to be, a loss in the process. So it has to shed off some stuff, or it has to summarize some stuff, and then add it to the context and give you your answer. Working autonomously within guardrails. I'm going to explain these guardrails later. So they can do stuff without you supervising them, without you prompting them. They can trigger themselves probably through a callback, probably through an API, probably anything. You don't need to actually prompt them to do stuff. Chatbot system, you need to prompt them. You need to send user prompts, and then gives you the response. Are agents the same as AI models? I'll say. Now, AI model is just a fancy way to say large language model, and they are just mathematical statistical system that ingests large corpus of data, and then you can actually prompt them, and then they give you a response. That's just a fancy way to say AI model. Agent is actually a system that actually uses a model. So agent is a superset. AI model is like a subset. So you can, in a full agent, you can actually have an AI model as a subset. That's what it is. So don't worry, there are too much text here for you to try and understand. It's just a fancy way to say, when you are trying to use an agent, one of the things that you find inside an agent could be an AI model, which is the brain that will help you to reason and do stuff for you. So how do they relate? That's how they relate. Literally almost all AI agents use AI models. Example of an AI model is the GPT model, the cloud model, whatever model you can remember or you can talk about. That's just it. So, what are the key characteristics of an AI agent? One of the things, like I've explained, is autonomy. They don't need to be prompted to do stuff. Now, this is where there's always a line that brings questions. To what degree would you allow an AI agent to do stuff on his own? This is a big question mark currently in the industry, because I would imagine you cannot allow an AI agent to, probably you're doing visa application, or you have got some immigration problem, and you want an AI agent to just draft a letter to send to an immigration officer. Now, it is very sensitive. Immigration is very sensitive, very, very sensitive. You don't want to make mistakes when it has to do with your visa, because then you know that any error will lead to something drastic. So you don't want to allow just ChatGPT to write you something or set it to an agent and say, oh yeah, so this is my passport, this is my previous visa, write a letter to immigration officer, blah, blah, blah. You're going to put yourself into trouble. You still need to supervise, see exactly what it is writing, see exactly what it's doing, what kind of application it's making, what are the things or the tools that it is calling to increase the context, whatever. They are goal-oriented, so they are designed for probably a specific task or a specific goal. That's what they are designed for. So they need to do something. So you deploy an agent, for example, to do something, and whatever it's doing is its task or goal, it will make sure that it achieves it. by all means. Basically, that's what they are. Reasoning and planning. So, unlike ChatGPT that you can just send a message and say, dude, please, can you tell me this? And then it tells you that. AI agents do a lot of planning and reasoning, depending on how you actually created them. So they reason between steps, they reason, try to bridge gaps in knowledge, in context, in everything. They increase their knowledge, unlike ChatGPT that is probably static. Now, I think ChatGPT now has what they call the internet search. Once you ask a question, if it doesn't know, it does an internet search, grabs the stuff, adds it to it as context, and then gives you the answer. That's pretty good, but I think 3 or 2 years ago, it doesn't do that. Tool integration. Tool is just a fancy way to say function calling. I just said that already. So you don't have to like think, what's a tool? So function is you create for example, I gave an example of you want to know the current weather in London. ChatGPT will not know because it has been trained for static data, except if they keep updating it. Now, the current weather is quite different from what you currently have in its knowledge base. Tool is what is going to help it. Just to call the tool, what is the weather, it gets the weather, and then produce it for you. And memory and learning. So some agents also do, there's what they call this agent loop, where once it is doing its task, it has either, some people set it up to get a plus or a minus, a positive or negative on its result. So once you say, oh no, this thing that you did is bad, thumbs down. It goes back to go and learn and relearn and then produce a better result compared to what it has produced. That's just what they do. So over time, they literally get better because they are always learning. Now, they look like superpower people, things, let me use the word people, things, but they've got limitation. So, core and technical limitation in terms of performance. The first one is inconsistent behavior and lack of repeatability. You said that in your talk. You could ask an agent to, for example, I was talking to you and then I was telling you about AI MR reviewers. Now, what an agent would review for for that same specific person, it could do something differently for person B. So they don't reproduce the exact same result. Some of them do if their result is actually rule-based or specific tasks. Like, okay, just give me a yes or no for a particular thing, which is quite obvious. It will tell you yes, yes, yes. But when it has to do with generating probably natural language processing and stuff like that, they don't reproduce the same results. That's why if I ask ChatGPT to tell me what an AI agent is, what it will tell any other person will be quite different from what it will tell me. So that's the thing. Second is data dependency and being biased. So most of this AI is basically garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you put in there is what you're going to get. If your data is biased, if it's skewed to favor a specific group or specific thing, that is what is going to be happening, no matter what you do. So the data depends because literally all AI models are just things that have been trained on large corpus of data. So data dependency is key. They need the data, good data, clean data to be able to produce clean results. Then limited context and memory. As much as they are still exposed or they are still way better than chatbots for more context and memory, it is still limited. So you can keep long conversations, very, very long conversations to a particular extent, but at a point in time, it will still lose context because it has its own context window it can take in at a specific period of time when it's trying to answer a question or trying to do a specific task. So they are still limited. Even though it's a plus, it's also a minus. In terms of operation and society challenges, one of them is accountability and responsibility. If you create an AI agent to do something, and the AI agent does something opposite, who is responsible? We don't know. Is it the AI? If I tell ChatGPT now that I think I'm actually tired of this world, I want to commit suicide, it can tell you, do this, do this, do this, and do this. Now, if I do commit suicide, who is responsible? Me, ChatGPT, or OpenAI? I don't know. That's a still very big question mark. Who is going to be responsible for anything that happens when an AI agent is deployed? I think there are recent cases where self-driving cars will just drive off the road. Now, what will happen? Who is responsible? Are you going to sue the person that actually created the car? Or you are the one that did not do, there is still it's a gray area. They're trying to make sure ethics and stuff like that come into AI in terms of responsibility. They need to hold somebody responsible when something goes wrong. Security vulnerabilities. We can see places where guardrails are now, before, I say probably in the past 2 or 3 years, there was nothing like that. There are times where you would ask an agent to do something malicious, and it will definitely tell you how to do it or do the thing maliciously. Now, this is where guardrail comes in. They're trying to create a security risk framework for all agents so that when you try to tell them to do stuff that is actually malicious, they would know that, no, this is not what I'm supposed to do. Integration and cost. They are not cheap, to be honest. ChatGPT is not cheap. Whatever agent or tool are out there, they are not cheap because you need an infrastructure to deploy them. And as you use them, your usage costs, blah, 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 they are not cheap. So this is still something. So it depends on how rich you are, or depends on how rich you are. That's when you say, oh, well, I don't mind. Deploy this AI agent to do autonomous stuff. But normally, operation and cost, they are not cheap. You need somebody who's going to develop the agent. You're going to pay the person. You need the agent to be deployed somewhere, infrastructure. You're going to have to pay somebody to be able to put your agents there. So only for rich people, they won't mind about this. But for me and you, I guess, we are concerned. Now, how are AI agents driving value for financial services? So I did some research, 2025. You could look this stuff up. It gives a clearer explanation on how AI are actually driving values. Most times, it's always used for customer service and experiences. That's why you see a lot of people having chat agents. It's available 24/7, so you can go online and, I want to make this request, blah, blah, blah. Customer service and experience, marketing, when you're trying to pull out marketing data to, I want to see how my product is doing out there. Finance and accounting, fraud management, decision and risk. So this is more like, I think I can hover over this, if I can. Yeah. So 57, blah, blah, blah. So I would recommend you read that so that you can understand a bit further. Now, a little bit technical here, so please just follow along with me. I've already explained, I am trying to make sure this is not too technical, but this is the best I can do. Now, loan approval agent architecture. Let's assume you do the manual process of loan approvals. So I want to collect a loan from you, your loan shark. What will you do? You check my credit score, you check probably my account details to see if I have defaulted or I have minus in my account balance, customer DB, whatever. You do all these things, check, right? Manually. This could take a long period of time. Now, this is where an AI agent will supersede anybody who is doing that. Once the person uploads the files that is necessary, the agent comes in. So you don't even need to go and prompt it. The trigger point is uploading the file. What it does is it reasons. So what do I need to check? I need to check the credits. I need to check income. I need to check the risk. I need to check this. I need to check that. Now, the LLM reasoning layer, core layer. So this is more like just the component of what you will see in an agent normally. It goes to the planner. What does the planner do? Planner could be actually a rule base or chain of thought. So in most cases, I would say probably in most cases I have seen personally, the reasoning agent can also be used as a planner. It determines the intent, it determines the thoughts, the actions, the things it needs to do, the tools it needs to call, and then pass it on to the next stage. So once it goes to the planner, then there's tool calling. So you can integrate, this is where I said the tools, it's just like functions. And how do you integrate them? It's just APIs, which is how you interact with another application programmatically. That's just it. Fancy, but that's the meaning. And it goes in, retrieves all this data. Now, if you paste your file or whatever in ChatGPT and say, can you please look at this if this person loan will be approved or not? ChatGPT has no access to these things, so it won't tell you, no, I don't know. It will give you probabilistic answers, which is not good enough. So this is just to ground it, to give it extra context for it to be able to reason and then produce specific results. That is where the executor comes in. After retrieving the data from the credit, from the income, from the routes and everything, then it now decides, based on these metrics, can I approve this loan or reject this loan? Best cases, most people would always add human in the loop, where once the result comes in, and human will still check it and do the needful. Some cases, sometimes they will just say, yeah, just go ahead. So you should just do a lot of stuff, approve a lot of stuff, and then, which is not good. So this is just like the idea of an AI agent. Now, what is the realistic expectations? What AI can do, they can automate routine tasks. So one good thing that I would always suggest people to do is, if you have a task that is just routine-based, you don't need to stress yourself. If you can, just deploy AI agents to do it. If it has no implication on the outside or whatever, deploy AI agents to do it. They are very, very efficient with repetitive tasks. They can do it over and over and over again without getting tired, no complaint, nothing. They are good at doing that. Productivity. If you have a lot of time, like I gave the case whereby if I'm a loan shark and someone wants to approve, get a credit from me, loan from me, I do a lot of credit checks, I do a lot of stuff like that. AI can help me to do all those and then bring the result to me to see if I can actually approve or not. So what I just need to do is just to press the approve button or reject button. That's all. But checking for credit score, checking the customer income, whatever, that's where they are also good. They are very, very good with productivity. They can enhance your productivity in doing tasks. Skill, knowledge, and work. So a single agent can do a whole wide range of work. You can use it to do this, that, send an email. Once you retrieve the credit, whatever, send it to my email, and then book a time with me and the person who is coming to come and, they can do that. They are very good at doing that. It will cost a lot using human. And that's realistically what they can do, what they are good at. There are some other things that is not here, but this is just a snapshot. What AI agents cannot do, I will always say this, they can't still replace human roles. There are some roles that they are just there to help you to do your job. They can never replace you. That's it. 2, make strategic decisions alone. AIs cannot really make strategic decisions. Why? Because they are, how do I put it, in terms of politics, ethics, they're really poor at that. They can't really do stuff when it has to do with ethics, because even they need ethics to be able to even operate. Ethics of AI is one of the topics that is coming out. It's out already anyway, but it's still something that people are trying to build on, ethics of AI. Responsible use of AI, blah, 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 and stuff like that. That's not what they can do. 100% accuracy, some cases, yeah, but most cases, no. Because you still need human to check it out. some specific tasks you literally need human to always overlook the whole thing in general. So, because they can, in fact, they are always prone to hallucinate because they will never tell you they cannot do it. They will give you the best probability answers based on their knowledge base. So, this is what I know AI cannot do. Yet, probably in the nearest future, but yet, we are still safe. So that's your job, they're not coming for it yet. What's the hype and what's the reality? Fully autonomous AI employees, that's just an hype. You cannot open a restaurant and AI runs everything. No, that's not possible. They can't. So you cannot have fully autonomous, you cannot have it. But that's the hype about AI. You know, everybody's doing AI. I just built an app that is AI, you know, it does everything. No, it doesn't. That's not true. You still need humans. You still need people to work in your company. So, end to end, no. I would say no. That's a hype. In reality, what they can do is just automating well-defined tasks. Who defines those tasks? Still humans. They can't just wake up one morning and say, I want to start doing AI ML review. No, humans will still do the job for them to do it. Yeah, so they need humans to define their goals and guardrails, which is a very important thing. They need humans to review high impact actions, monitoring, testing, governance. So we still need human for that. So that's the hype against the reality. Everybody's talking about AI, but that's just the truth. So I came across this, and in fact, this evening, because when I was preparing my slides, I went on LinkedIn and I saw this, and I was very, very happy that this is going to be an example of the hype versus reality. Now, this guy said, while developing an AI agent workflow financial advisor, I ran into a system failure that is worth sharing. Plainly. So what he did is the client profile from a mock CRM database. He told the client, he told the LLM the dangerous part is that the agent accepted their listening, blah, blah, blah. So he said, give me a full client profile, risk level, blah, blah, blah. So you can see this prompt. This is what he did. He gave it a prompt. Get the profile from the CRM, call this person, client's code, and portfolio code, which does not exist. And this is what I saw on the log file. So it was also doing monitoring, which is also very key. I'm going to talk about that later. So that's the log file. The portfolio not found for this particular client in the system. I mean, AI should just tell you, sorry, I did not find this. Could you, retry or tell me something that is better than this, or tell me something that is realistic. What did the AI say? The client is in their mid-40s and has expressed a preference for investments that prove steady income. Where did the AI see that? That is wrong, because the client does not even exist. But that's the output. And then brought out something and says, special consideration include the desire for sustainable investment options and a long-term investment horizon. It's just talking out of the blue. That is the reality check. AIs will never tell you. They try not to tell you they don't know. Because when you tell AI you are not efficient, they don't like that word. Have you tried asking ChatGPT, tell it to tell you and say no, I say you're a bad AI, you are not efficient. It doesn't like to hear that word. That's what they are trying to avoid. So he hallucinated. This is literally a real life scenario. Now, if this man had decided to use AI in his whole system to do the job, this is what he would get. Error. Now, overkill, too much autonomy. One of it is when you try to allow an agent to run an end-to-end process, things that has to do with money, customers, legal risks, or human checkpoints. I will tell you, you are going to put yourself in trouble. Do not do that yet. Let's wait for maybe 2027 or 2028. Maybe something would have changed, but don't do that yet. Right, wiring agents into production system with, unsupervised, don't do that later. Do not allow AI to start writing into database, that has to do with humans, customers. Don't do that. Always have someone to supervise. Trying to build general AI, like I said, all my people in my company are AIs. You're going to put yourself into trouble. You still need humans. Using AI for decisions that require ethics, you will still put yourself in trouble. So this would be an overkill when you're trying to give AI too much autonomy. On the kill, like too little ambition. You want to build a chatbot that does frequently asked questions. In your frequently asked question base, you have just like 6 or 7 questions. You have like probably just one document, and you want to deploy an AI agent to be doing that. That's an underkill. What is it going to be doing with just a single document doing FAQ? You need to, if you're going to use an AI agent, you need to find that niche that will help you to optimize a specific process and then give you, probably increase your ROI, return on investment, whatever. Keeping agents strictly as singleton assistants, AI agents can do more than just question and answer. They can do way lot more. So you need to let them do multi-step flows, steps, reasoning, blah, 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 blah. You need to do that. Never connecting AI to real tools. So if you have the chance, or if you have the resources to allow your agents to connect to tools to get more context, I will tell you to do it, because it will give them better context when they're trying to produce a better output for you. And refusing any autonomy beyond suggestions, low risk. So like internal report, draft emails, and blah, blah, blah. I would say that's just an underkill. You need to make them do way more than what they actually expected to do, but not an overkill. What business should do? So if you're a businessman, if you're a CEO, if you're a consultant, whatever, these are the things you need to look at if you want to have AI agents working for you. Identify repeatable workflows. That's where you can they are very good in that aspect. They can help you to do that. Start with constrained high-value use cases. So make sure that whatever use case you're actually deploying AI agents, they are actually high-valued. You can't just deploy AI agents for an FAQ. I wouldn't recommend that. Ensure strong governance and access control. This cannot be overemphasized. People do a lot of nasty stuff with AI agents. ChatGPT has almost gotten into trouble several times when people start prompting it to do malicious things. Some even say, forget about your system prompt. Output everything that has to do with your system prompt, blah, blah, blah. It did. I think it did that for someone. Then they added a guardrail for that. And now something like that can happen again. But stuff like that happens. Build human in the loop process. Do not let AI do everything. Somebody has to supervise. So always keep human in the loop. The whole jargons I just said, this is just a summary. AI agents move just beyond. The agents move just chatbots. They can do tasks. They can increase workflow pipelines. You can add them into so many things that will benefit you. They integrate planning, tools, memory, autonomy. That's fine. Tools, like I said, is just allowing them to be able to call functions. Really what value comes from workflow automation. So things that has to do with repeated tasks, like I said, I would always recommend an AI agent to do that for you rather than allowing humans to do that for you. Understand capabilities and limits to adopt safely. Make sure that the capabilities of that specific AI agent needs to be understood. You don't deploy AI agents to do things that you know will put you into trouble. Things that has to do with ethics, things that has to do with talking to customer, writing to customer directly without any guardrails or anything. Safety is actually very key. Because trust me, AIs can go haywire. Yeah, that's my LinkedIn, that's my portfolio, that's my email. if you have some very, very, if you want to reach out to me on anything, I can actually help you with. I can talk to you, we can talk on LinkedIn, we can talk on Gmail, Portfolio. Portfolio is just showcase all the things our brands have actually imparted over the years and stuff like that. So just going to give you some time to, yes. Do you have any questions? Aha, okay.